What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Asa Studio. Today we'll be doing some retouching tutorial, and this is going to be fast, but we're going to be using Photoshop. And this is what I just want to show you, some few steps how you can actually edit your portrait and my workflow and so on and so forth. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to pinpoint or pick out what I want to fix. First of all, you can see the color of her ends and that of her face is not actually matching, and the photo looks a little bit the exposed on her face, which is making the photo dull and not bringing it to life. And you can see the saturation is not balanced, and we need to do some frequency separation. All right, so these are the things we're going to be doing to make the image look good or look great. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is to create a curve layer, and on the curve layer I'm actually going to pick this one and just drag on this place because it's actually the brightest image, and you can see that the line is actually selected. I'm going to undo that and then I'm going to do it again. So select this place and bring it down like so. I know it's dark right now, but let's open up the blending mode, and on the blending mode we're going to reduce it from some certain places, so we can take it back like this, and when we get to a point, just see where we need it. So somewhere like this, I'm just going to hold down Alt and then split it out and bring this one forward also, just to get a clean just to get something clean. Can bring it back a little. Okay, so I'm gonna hit OK. We can come back and change it later, but right now it affected some of the highlight I don't want. So I'm gonna pick up the brush tool and then I'm gonna select the mask and I'm gonna erase it mostly from the face. So let's remove it from this side of our body, and let's see this one too. Okay, so some couple of places we don't need it. I'm just going to leave it like that, and I can actually undo that, so we leave it from the face. Okay, and after that you go create the hue and saturation slider, and I'm going to select this one and select this point, and you can see it's actually selected red. I'm going to increase it and then shift the slider till I get the place I want to select. So somewhere like this, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to shift this backwards a bit, and I'm going to shift this backwards a bit. I just want to get the end. Alright, so after that I'm going to shift this upwards, take this upwards like this, and let's click outside the box, and this time click the mask tool and come to the mask. I'm going to remove it from the face, although it's supposed to be here. So I'm going to remove it from the rest part of our body, which I want it to look like. Let's turn it off and on. So off and on. It's actually okay. Then off and on. Okay, so those are the places we want to change. I'm going to turn it back on, close it, turn it back on, and go back to where we changed, which is the yellows. And I'm going to quickly reset that to 0, and let's see. We're not going to increase the lightness, we're going to increase the saturation so as to make it look like that of the face. Okay, so this is what we're going to do, and we can actually bring it forward or backwards to make it a little bit reddish. So -1 seems great, and no, I think we don't need much saturation, and that looks okay for me, and bringing it back. So we've succeeded in making the two look alike, and you can see from before and then from after. And with the curves you can see what's actually going on. So if you feel the curve is actually covering too many highlights, we can actually decrease that. So let's take this back to, like, let's say 50%. It's actually okay. So now let's create the stamp visible layer. Control Shift Alternate E to create a stamp visible layer. I'm just going to group these two together, and let's start with the frequency separation. Ctrl J twice, and this one I'm going to name it color. I'm going to name this one texture, and I'm going to do the frequency separation. So turn this one off, select the color, go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and let's blur it with the radius. I'm going to leave it at 15, but let's take it back a little. But the more the blur, the more the texture. So let's leave it at 12. It's actually okay. I'm going to take it up just something like 15. No, 15 too much. 12. Okay, let me take in 14. Enter. And after that, I'm going to turn on the texture layer, select the texture, go to image, apply image, image, apply image, and you know what it is. Change to color, multiply, change to subtract, and leave the rest 2 and 128. Change the blending mode to linear light, and I'm going to group the two together and open it up, and I'm going to select the mixer tool brush for the skin, and this time around select the color, and let's see, expand the brush. So I'm going to do the frequency separation, and you can see before and after. If you don't know how to do frequency separation, there's a lot of videos on that. So let's quickly do some dodging and burning. So I'm going to go right here and then click the curves to the curve adjustment layer, and I'm going to duplicate it, Ctrl J to duplicate. So I'm going to turn this one off, double click on this one, and then bring it down like so. I'm going to close that, turn this one on. I'm going to turn off this one, and then double click on this one, and I'm going to raise it all the way up like that. So I'm going to close it. So let's invert the two mask, Ctrl I, and this one to invert, Ctrl I, and I'm going to click on this. So let's pick up the brush tool, make it smaller, and I'm just going to draw some lines and feather it out. So somewhere like this, draw a line. Okay, sorry, I'm on the wrong one. So I'm going to draw it out like this, create more. I'm going to come here, draw it out on a cheekbone, draw it out. So here, draw it out, something like that. And I'm also going to draw it out, let's see, like this. So we can also add some here, and this side to add some. I'm going to make this place more like this, and on our lips you can also add. Okay, so let's leave that. Let's just put a little here. All right, so this looks great, and we can put just a little on our eyes, and this side, and this one also. So we can go to properties of the mask. So let's go to Windows, properties, and I'm going to feather it out till we have it spread out. So let's keep on feathering it out like that, and I believe that's actually okay. So let's bring it down and let's see. And now it's actually looking okay, but let's decrease the opacity a little bit so it will show up that. So I like putting it at 50%, and we can leave it and see before and then after. Okay, so that's looking nice. Select this one, same thing, max through, and let's put some dimension to the photo. So I'm just gonna come here and then draw one, and beneath our cheek like this, 2, and this side 3. Now we can put some on the eyes. Okay, feel you can also fix some here beneath our jaw, and this side to pick it up. So I just want to focus more on our face. So let's go to properties, Windows, properties, and then let's fade it out too. So somewhere around there, it's looking okay. 46, and we can decrease the opacity to 50, 54, yeah, 47, and we can group the two together, put them in a group, and let's see before and after. So succeeded in creating, dodging and burning. If it's too much, you can actually still, adjust that. Okay, so one thing I actually notice are eyes. So let's try and fix that, the eyes. Let's go to solid layer, adjustment, click on OK, and I'm going to turn it off. Double click on the color and select the eyes, and you can see what parts actually selected. Let's select this place, and more of that is selected. All right, so let's take it up and click OK, and this time change it to divide to, I just want the eyes to be white. I'm gonna invert the mask, select the brush tool, and then let's paint it on our eyes just like so. So let's zoom out, and you can see it's actually brought the eyes to life, but that's looking bright, and we can fix that by taking it all the way up just a little bit to the top, and click OK, and you can see just before and after. Well, that fixed a lot. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take it to camera raw filter. But let's create a stamp visible layer first of all, and then we take it to camera raw filter. All right, so here we are in camera raw filter, and there are some basic things we need to do. So just like the highlight shadows, so I want to bring up the the blacks a little bit to make the blacks in the air, and let's raise up the shadows just a bit. I'm going to increase the highlight because I want more of our face to come out, because we've lost some when we're editing. All right, so for the white, we can actually bring it back down, just the highlights we need to compensate for the brightness we are getting. Okay, so this is actually okay. Then the texture, bring it up, bring the texture up a bit. You can see more definition in our clothes and our hair, so that's actually okay for that. And we're going to close this one, and then we're going to go to the curves. You can add some contrast if you want, but see how it gets, things get awesome. So that might be. And one thing about this, you can actually reduce, not so much, just a little. I'm gonna bring it back a little. Okay, so that's okay there, but it's too much. All right, so let's see, let's turn it off. Okay, you can see turning it off and turning it on, more contrast. Okay, so let's bring it down, and next thing we're going to do is to go to the color mixer, and first of all let's start with the saturation or the hue. Now the reddish, let's make it like the orange, and take note our lips is also red, so I'm going to bring it back just because of our lips. You can see the difference, bring it up and down. So just because of our lips, I'm going to bring it somewhere around here. And then the oranges, I want it to look like the yellow kind, but if you take it back, it looks like this. So I want it to look the yellowish, and the yellow more like look like more the yellows. So kind of correction, if you're taking it towards this side, this yellow, it comes towards this side, the orange. If you're taking it towards the left, the right is going to be like the greens. Okay, so that's for the hue. Now the orange, we can increase the saturation of the orange, not too much because we're going to use the calibration tool, so decreasing the yellows a little bit, increasing it. What does it do? Okay, let's just bring it back a little, and now let's go to the luminance, and we can bring up the yellows and bring up the oranges. So just a little. No. Okay, so close this one and then open up the calibration. And on the calibration, I'm going to choose first skin. I'm going to increase this forward. And the blues, let's take it backwards. So we have something like this. And we can reduce the saturation. I see saturation of the yellows. So let's go to back to the color mixer. If I turn it off, okay, and turn it back on, so I feel the yellow is actually too much on that. The saturation of the yellows, okay, orange, then let's leave it at 0. Go to the luminance and then bring this back to 0, and we can set it again. So let's just leave this at 0. Okay, so let's go find the sweet spot for the calibration. Sweet spot for calibration, either the grains, take it all the way up, and we have something like this. Okay, so this we can actually bring it back a little, and we're good. So now go back to the color mixer and then make more advancement. So I'm going to go to the oranges and take it all the way up. Then the yellows, I'm going to bring it all the way back, just like so. And the luminance again, let's bring up the luminance of the face. Okay, so now you can see our before and after like this. I'm going to close it. What did it do? What did it do? Okay, so let's just click OK to confirm our adjustment. Alright, so you can see the before and then the after photo is being brought back to life. Okay, so more to it we can do is to click on the exposure and then we color grade. So I'm going to hit the camera backwards like this, and we can create some color balance adjustment layer, and we want to make it looks fresh. We're going to bring this back, go to the highlight, the shadows, let's bring in some blues, not enough color grade, and put in some red, take back and put in some cyan. So something like this. I'm gonna go to the highlight and just something that works best. Blues, let's add some red. Cyan will decrease, let's add some red. Yeah, okay, we're recording, and take this backwards or forwards. So this is cool. And the shadows, I'm gonna add in some. Okay, let's just leave that one 0, and I'm gonna hit OK, and let's see the difference before and then after. You can see how calm it actually looks now. So one last thing is the vibrance. Okay, you can go ahead and add some vibrance to it and increase the vibrance, not too much, just a little. Okay, so this is where we're gonna stop for editing. If you like the video, come on, hit the like button. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe, and you learn 1 or 2 things, let me know in the comment section. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Once again, this is ASAS. See you in the next video.